Hey guys, just want to welcome you to episode 10 of the Angry Advocate podcast. My name is Ed. I'm the guitar player of Death's Hand and owner of Advocate Media.
And hey everyone, welcome to episode 10. I am Ash, the owner of Angry Ginger Photography. We are so excited for this episode. We have Alan Della Torre, the guitarist of Traders, with us.
Oh, hi. How y'all doing?
Hello.
Thank
Welcome.
you for having me. Very last minute. It's a good time. You might hear some dog barking in the background. I got a
The
dachshund.
best.
He likes to bark.
Nothing
It's a
wrong with that
dog,
at all.
same as mine. You will hear the
Oh, yeah.
same.
Yeah, apparently that's just what they do.
For sure. Yeah. They need everybody to know that they are around.
And they want
Absolutely.
you to know, hey, somebody is closing their car door 4 houses down. You got to know. It's a problem.
Just need to let you know that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, this is a super cool episode for us, episode 10. Very new small podcast, but really cool to get you on here.
I'm stoked to get the first double digits episode. That's tight.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's cool. We've you and I have had like light communication here and there, kind of talking back about gear and a couple different things, and it's been really cool just to have a band that I'm very heavily influenced by and look up to a lot, and just the fact that you respond when you can and really you give me some time when I know you probably don't have a lot of time, so it really means a lot, and that's why I wanted to ask you to come on here, one of the big reasons. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you appreciate that. It's like part of my philosophy because to be entirely honest, I'm on the road a lot and I'll, be back in Tacoma and they'll be like, "Hey dude, what's up?" And my philosophy is just treat everyone like a friend, whether I've met them or not before. I'm
yeah.
just be nice to people. And then they'll be like, "Do you remember me?" And I'll be like, "I don't at all. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
But it's how I would like to be treated, I imagine. Golden rule.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And I think that will probably mean a lot for people to just, it's like, oh, he's responding, he's reaching out, he's doing whatever, and I mean that definitely means I'm sure a lot to fans, and just people in general that that you do that. So that's really cool.
Fingers crossed. That's what I'm
Yeah,
aiming for.
exactly. Cool. We're gonna jump right into questions. So Ash, do you want to throw the first one out?
Absolutely. When did you know you wanted to be a professional musician?
So it kind of all just happened on accident. I had been in like bands and I'd been very passionate about it. Like all through high school, I had been starting bands and like writing music kind of as like my metal tastes were developing. And so it got to the point where my band, Misanthropic Tyrant, that was like my first serious band with Dickie Allen, Dave Moore, Mikey Ingram, and others that shall remain unnamed. We were, we kind of, it had been like, we had been ripping local shows and all that around Florida. But I was getting into college and everyone was, turning 18, 19, kind of doing life stuff. And so Stephen Arango approached me saying that Tyler, had like suggested me as like, this is a good local guitarist if we're trying to start a band. So we got together and wrote and released Arrogance, and it kind of just like gained a lot of momentum overnight, essentially, because we already had like some like local Florida hype because we were from like different smaller local bands, and it was a local super group, and that was at the time of like Facebook's like organic reach. It was like
Yeah.
just post MySpace, so Facebook hadn't figured out that they should force young striving musicians to pay for play yet. So
Yeah.
it just kind of blew up overnight and we released an EP, got on we did like a Southeast America tour, and then wheels just kind of kept on turning. We released the Hate Campaign and we're going on tour. And I was like keeping jobs and going to college throughout this period, and it kind of just snowballed to where the plan was like, well, there's tour, but I'm supposed to be taking these college courses. So I'll see if I can do it on the road. Turns out I could not do it on the road.
Nope.
I dropped out of college and just didn't look back. I don't know. I just kind of ended up living my dream with my friends. I remember at one point I was paying like 300 and something bucks a month in rent because we were all just living together, and it was like, let's just do what we can to grind this out.
Yeah.
Snowballs do. A decade later, here I am.
I was gonna say I feel like that whole train of you guys like it's not stopped. Like it's just
Well, I'll say we kind of took a lull during COVID
yeah
because and again I can't get too much into it, but like we were supposed to be writing an interim period, and we were dealing with a lot of stuff. So the album that was supposed to be like a lot of the successful bands right now are like they had their COVID album, and then it's like boom, you drop a new album 2021 2022, everyone's fucking coming out to shows. Then dude, I
yeah
love to see it too. I feel like it's what kind of generated the second wave of deathcore.
yeah. Oh, for sure.
Absolutely.
There's no
But
doubt.
yeah, dude, we're on this train, dude. We're loading coal into that fucking engine.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. We're definitely seeing that effect here up in New England, up in the Maine, New Hampshire, Mass, Connecticut, New York, side.
Yeah, dude. I
It's
love that
crazy.
area too.
Yeah.
Like as
Yeah.
far as music, because it's so interconnected. Like Florida, I have to drive 2 hours north to Tampa. That's like my closest outlet, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
wild.
I saw somewhere on your Instagram that you came up to Maine at some point. So
Yeah, that was a COVID vacation. Actually, it's the only time I've been to Maine. My girlfriend spent some years there, and
Yeah.
oh god, it's so gorgeous. And
Yeah.
also, I'll say this: Maine people are like, it's just like it's a different type of Florida person. Like Maine folks are wild.
That's
I love
hilarious.
it.
Yeah.
Nobody
It's
takes
just-
Maine people into account, but they're wild.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. For
It's
sure.
the Florida people of the forest.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
Yeah.
I can totally understand that. But yeah, that's super cool. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you guys definitely, um I can tell you guys are really just kind of like you said, just pumping coal and just, you know what I mean? Like moving forward, just doing as much as you guys possibly
It's our
can.
life's work. That's all we want to do with life is we want to entertain people, and we want to make the people who give a fuck about us happy, and we want to have the product for them.
Yeah, for sure. And I can definitely see that, and I'm sure everybody else sees that. It just for me, it's like heater album after heater album. It just
Thank you so much.
Listen,
fingers crossed on the next one. February something. I don't remember the date. It's coming out February.
Cool. Well, we'll I know I'll be looking forward to it, and I'm sure everybody else will be too. So,
oh hell yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, next question. Do you have a favorite venue or location that you've been to while on tour?
That's hard because it's like I'll split it into like, say you're on tour. There's good venues and then there's good cities, and rarely do the two intertwine in my experience. Granted, we're not playing, fucking House of Blues. So
yeah,
I don't know. I love cities. Like especially, if we get lucky and it's like a good time of year. This last tour we just did, we were in Seattle, and it was like just the most gorgeous weather I could have ever asked for.
Yeah.
Seattle's gorgeous. Chicago, I love. I grew up there, so it's always amazing to be back. Brooklyn, I hate driving it. I love the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even down to like Atlanta, which is like we play Masquerade a lot. I fucking love Masquerade. They got showers, they got laundry.
Yeah.
But the area around Masquerade, not as nice. Like it's cool because it's like a college kid environment. But if you go like too far, like you go too many blocks east or whatever, it'll get a little weird pretty quick.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, as far as venues, I love Deep Ellum. We played Trees a couple times in Deep Ellum. That's a great area, great venue combo. It's hard to beat. Let me
The
see any
Magic
other
too.
venues that really call for me. I'm RIP Old Orpheum. I got to give the Old Orpheum a shout out when they were in Ybor because that was a great venue, great area combo. But I mean, yeah, and also I have this thing where we'll be like, "Oh, we're going to so and so ballroom today," and I'm like, "Never heard of it." And then I'll step inside the building and be like, "Oh, I remember 3 shows here."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a little
Memory unlock.
associated too for me to be able to provide a name.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm sure, yeah, when and like, I'm sure with going on tour and just with the amount that you guys are trying to do and pump out, it's hard to like, unless something really stands out to you, I'm sure like, those venues probably go kind of quickly,
Yeah,
so
and
I'm
then there's like we'll play less amenable venues because we at a certain size it's just like no green room hanging out in the van in the parking lot, and as long as it's not the middle of summer or the dead of winter, that's all right.
yeah.
But yeah, it's some of those I just kind of phased through those days, and the show is sick, and I like won't remember the town or the venue, but I'll come back. Like I said, I'll get into the room and I'll be like, I remember that one show here. This dude stage dived and nobody caught him,
Yeah.
or whatever the event was.
Yeah.
The worst.
That is the worst.
Dude, that's rough to see, dude, because a lot
Yeah.
of our fans
Yeah.
are like, you know, more in the adult range. And we have new fans coming out too, but it's like the people that are going hard, it's like you'll see a 32-year-old dude that's got work tomorrow, like front flip just onto his back from 5 feet up the stage.
And you're like,
And then there's
he's
just
not
the pause before anyone helps him of just like, is he dead? Is he alive? What is happening?
That's a rough moment. And like we always have eyes on that too, because that's a potential like stop the show moment. Like,
yeah.
every once in a while you see a pool of blood, and metal's supposed to be violent and everything, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we all want to be happy and healthy.
Yeah, you gotta
Exactly.
check on that for sure. For sure.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Next question, which of course it's coming from the one without one, but what's your favorite kind of dog and why is it a dachshund?
Okay, so oh, he's not here. He was hanging out with me earlier. We got a dachshund puppy. He's like a year old, like a year and 3 months maybe. His name's Dusty. He's adorable. He's a cuddle bug. He is an attention freak, and he is very vocal, as dachshunds are one to be. I
Yeah.
don't know if dachshunds are my favorite, but I will say this: before we got Dusty, I was like, like a dachshund, all right. Like I'm more of a big dog guy,
Same.
but I also don't. I'm not equipped to raise a big dog.
Yeah.
Like we have a nice
Absolutely.
yard and everything, but it's just I would have to be like a day trader or something. Just I'm at home all day, every day to have a big dog. So I
Yeah.
would like a because I don't know. Before I knew anything about how fucking rigorously responsible I would have to be, huskies, chow chow, just big fucking fluffy, lovey dogs.
Yeah.
What's it? There's one
Absolutely.
that's like my friend had this dog. It's like a white shepherd something something. It's like 4 feet tall at its head,
Oh
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
the most loving, fluffiest, cutest dog. Well, and
Amazing.
now I got Dusty, so I'm
Right.
rewired, and I just love him, and that's that. So
Yep.
the reason my favorite dog is a dachshund is because I have a dachshund.
Right.
Absolutely.
If you didn't have one, what would actually like what would another breed that you would like to have if you could have it? I know you mentioned like a couple like but like legitimate like if you really like had to pick.
But yeah, um, I wouldn't like a husky just because that's just too much effort. Honestly, I'm a little bit of a cat person. I think cats are sick. That they can kind of just they'll fuck off until if you really treat a cat well and raise it from a kitten, it will love you. But like
Yeah.
it doesn't snuggle like a dog snuggles.
Yeah.
So I'll say
Correct.
I like the big fluffy dogs like chow chow, even like a German Shepherd type stuff, just big hefty
Yeah.
dogs. I
Yeah.
also though I always wanted to get a what's the Doge dog? Sheena Ibu.
Shiba, yeah,
Yeah.
Shiba Inu.
And you
I
know what?
love
I just found out recently they make miniature Sheena Ibus. So
That's
I'm gonna have to
crazy.
look into that after I make I don't know, $20,000, which is what it'll cost to buy and train
Right.
and vaccinate and whatever.
A mini Shiba Inu, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
I'm sure it's not. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we have a cat too, and our cat's pretty cool. Like we have a love-hate relationship. Like sometimes we're
Yeah,
good,
that's
sometimes
what
we're
it
not.
is. A cat's more just of a roommate.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, again, we have Dusty the dachshund, and then we have Bug, who is a Bengal cat, and she's gorgeous, but she's not. She's like a little bit more, wild than like a domesticated cat. So like when
Yeah.
we're cuddling and stuff, even before we got dachshund, like Dusty, she'll want to hang out whether we're like cuddling or whether we're doing stuff. She likes to be at the center of whatever's happening. But at the
Yeah.
same time, because she has like this wildness in her, she can't like figure it out quite. Like she wants to come cuddle, so she'll like come over to us and we can pet her a little bit, but she can't get comfortable to sit down. Like she's
Yeah.
always a little bit too wired.
That's funny.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I showed my wife I think it was a video or a picture of your dachshund and your cat because she's a vet tech, and she was like, "Is that
Oh,
a she's like, "Is that a Bengal cat?" And I'm like, "I think it is." And she was like,
yeah,
"Beautiful, like absolutely beautiful."
insane. Like
Yeah,
her coat is insanely soft.
yeah,
I've never felt any other cat like that. And on
yeah,
top of that, because my girlfriend likes beautiful things, she made sure she got the most beautiful Bengal. And this fucking cat, if you have the cat like just hanging out in the sunlight in the window or whatever, its fur literally has like a golden shimmer. Even if you shine like a flashlight on it, you can see like individual parts of individual hairs will shine gold.
that's
I've
crazy.
never seen anything like it.
That's
And
crazy.
she's so
Insane.
soft and nice for the most part.
Yeah,
Nice for the most part.
that's
Yeah,
funny.
I really go with you saying like they're like roommates because I've lived with my roommate for almost a year, and he has a male and female cat. And the female, she's amazing. The male, his name's Scary. He sounds just like Gary the Snail, and he is a dick. Like he only has just started to like come rub up against me because I'll feed him
Oh,
like when my roommate like
is he an
actually just
orange
went
cat?
to Oregon. Yeah, he's a boy.
Oh no, is he an orange cat though?
Oh no, he is he's black and white, and he has
Okay.
it's like a little baby like Hitler mustache, like of course too. So he's got quite the personality. I've got
Yeah.
like some scars from when I just moved in, but in his defense, my roommate waited until after I moved in to be like, "Oh yeah, moving stresses him out." I was
Well,
like,
I
"Okay, I
mean,
was set up for failure from the start. It's fine."
yeah. Yeah, no, you gotta give him time. That's definitely
Yes.
I feel like it's just wild to have a boy and girl cat together. I also
Yeah.
don't know anything about anything. I just like to have my opinions out there and be like, yeah, I think it's weird to have a boy and a girl cat together. Right?
No, the
I
girl
did have a boy and girl cat growing up, but they were like brother and sister from the same litter.
Yeah.
so yeah, I feel like
Yeah, and then they
that's
started fucking, so that was weird.
That is weird.
sipping
But
in
you
that
know, they
long
got
no.
along for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got along great.
Whatever works, man.
Well, whatever's clever, man. I don't know, dude. I don't run the animal kingdom.
Yeah, exactly.
To each their own.
That's hilarious. Oh my god. Oh man, that's good.
Come here.
Next question. If you could tour with any band that you obviously haven't yet, which band like would you really want to like go on tour with?
Gojira, System of a Down. Those are the two that I have on tap. Mm. I mean, like, obviously, fucking a lot of bands. Like,
Yeah.
take me with Meshuggah and Cannibal Corpse and Slayer and fucking Metallica. And, I would love to play with just so many bands.
Yeah.
It's,
Absolutely.
I don't really have a concise, I'll say Gojira. This is my dream tour right here. So it's System of a Down headliner and then Gojira. I don't know, probably fucking Lorna Shore or something. And then some other band that's in between Lorna Shore and us, and we would probably be opening.
I mean, that would be a sick show.
Oh, it would be insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guarantee would be way too much for any promoter.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know.
probably.
System of a Down, I don't think does tours. I think they just do like
Only
festival runs, right?
festivals. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was at Sick New World when the first year, like with them and everything, like that first comeback and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're just doing festivals because the payout for that is just
Yeah, I mean, at their scale,
one and
I
done.
don't think shows really make sense. They could
No.
probably do like an arena tour, but they, I don't think they're dropping new music to do that.
No. No, I don't
Yeah,
think so either.
I did love Genocidal Humanoids though. That was tight.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Absolutely.
y'all heard this was what, like 20 shit, this was probably like 2020, but yeah, they released the 2 new tracks and one of them's like very radio. The other one was Genocidal Humanoids. They have blast beats.
Insane.
What are you whining about? Hang on.
Insane. Sounds like my
Oh,
dog.
come here. Come here. Come on. No,
Puppy.
Dusty's being ornery. He wants something that's on the floor. I think it's his blanket. Because there's the ramp up to the bed and he can't drag the blanket up.
Oh.
And so he just sits here and he's mad.
He's like, I want to
What's
cuddle
wrong,
with
bud?
it, but I can't.
What's wrong, Dusty?
Welcome to the show, Dusty.
He's like, I just
Gotta
want to have
keep
fun.
my boys happy. You gotta do it for your boys.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's
Here,
awesome.
Ed, do you want to ask the next one too?
Yeah. I should definitely ask the next one. So when did you start to learn screen printing?
So screen printing, I started it I want to say around 2015 because it was too like, okay, traders is something that I'm like letting my entire life revolve around, and as opposed to like just getting bullshit jobs in between tours, it's like maybe I should learn something that I can expand upon and use to actually make money. So I started with my friend Kurt Tyson actually in Fort Myers, and we split a 4-color 1 pallet screen print and rig. And so yeah, that started in like 2014, and there was just so much trial and error, but just kind of kept plugging away from there. And because I mean, before I like knew how it worked, I had all these grand ideas. It's like I want to do this and that shirt, and it's going to go all the way out to the sleeves, and like so I had a lot of cool ideas that were like not tempered by like the reality of how impossible some of these ideas were to pull off. So I just kind of kept chugging away at that. And so yeah, like 2015 to like 18, I'll say, or even 15 to 17 was like my learning period. And I got at that time I got my own rig, but I also got employed at a screen printing shop.
Oh,
so
cool.
It's kind of like free apprenticeship / job that I can do while I'm home. Then they were relatively chill with like, hey, I'm gonna be gone for a month. Like, sorry.
Right.
I definitely pissed off a couple CEOs, but that's all right. Is that a CEO if it's still a small company? Anyways,
who knows?
I'm the CEO. I mean, hey.
The chief operating officer of Bella Screen Printing.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
timing of CEOs is kind of rough, but
yeah, CEOs are like, you're not a CEO unless you hate poor people.
Yeah, probably. That would make sense.
And then that's why they become targets.
CEOs, I don't mean to offend you. I'm sure there's plenty of great CEOs that are actually doing good things in the world.
Sure.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. Most likely.
I mean, some don't have much to do now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's another good point. Well, I don't know. I'm talking about shit I know nothing about.
No, I'm saying the horrible timing because the CEO of United Healthcare was shot like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, some don't have anything to do now.
Yeah, dude, let's talk shit on dead people. That's no, I did hear because I did hear that, and it was like the CEO of like one of the larger health insurance companies.
Yeah.
And his company is responsible for like the most denied health insurance claims.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, I'm so tilted on insurance in general. Like in Florida, it's insane because like, we're getting flooded out or whatever with hurricanes. So
Yeah.
it's mandatory that we have flood insurance on our home, but then at the same time, you're gonna pay this insane monthly rate, and you're gonna get
Right.
flooded, and they're like, "Oh, it was under 3.7 inches, so
Right.
actually we're not gonna do anything."
Yeah.
But then I've also heard stories completely opposite to where there's somebody. It was a friend of my family, not particularly fond of them, but their house did get flooded, but all of their kitchen appliances were working, and so the insurance person came to their house to like assess, and they just unplugged like their oven and their fridge, and the insurance dude was just like, "Ah, guess you need a new oven and fridge." So yeah, I don't know. Maybe if
That's
your house
crazy.
is worth a certain amount, they'll be nice to you. I don't know.
Yeah, right. There's got to be something in there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah,
Um,
so the reason why I asked the screen printing question, my parents own a screen printing business that's been open for 46
Wow.
years. Um, I've been screen printing for over 20. So that's like my main job. And
Nice.
so it's cool to see just other people. I mean, there's a decent amount of people that I know that screen print, but it's cool just to kind of get their like ideas and just how it works for them and
Yeah.
different
Yeah, I
ways they
like
do stuff and how they learn.
yeah, I like seeing a lot of and it's like a lot on like just Instagram Reels or whatever nowadays,
Yeah.
but seeing people like from the ground up just being like, I fucking it took 20 tries, but I exposed this screen to the sun, and now I'm
Right.
printing like all over prints on these jeans on the floor of my garage. Like
Yeah.
that's art.
Yeah.
There's like, and I've worked in like industrial screen printing settings, and it can get a bit grueling and
Yeah.
capitalist, but like, I do think it is like, at the end of the day, even if you're printing shirts for fucking Larry's Pub, it's still like you're making something, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
is this color like just right? I think it could be like a little dustier, or like, oh, this is not exactly aligned, and like, it's there's a little bit of like pride in making something.
Yeah.
That's
I would
not a
agree. It's
Subway sandwich.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think making goods that people, use and appreciate, I think that means a lot. You know what I mean? And it's cool to just go through that process and,
Yeah.
figure it out. And yeah, like my parents have a smaller shop. But so we do definitely do a lot less volume than some of like the big, you know,
Oh, yeah.
volume places. But yeah, I definitely think there's like a sort of art that goes with it and an appreciation and like, when you get something like you sit there and you do a 4 or 5 color and you get it spot on and it looks mint,
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of pride when you get to do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
it's
especially when you've gone through the trial and error of, like,
yeah,
years of, like, "Oh, the stipple on these halftones isn't quite right, and we
right,
reburn the screen 4 times."
right, right.
Yeah, when you get to the point where you just burn all 4 colors, and you take half an hour to get it registered, you're all
Right.
just sitting there smoking your pre-print cigarette, like, "Hell
Yeah.
yeah, this looks great."
Yeah.
It's
Going great.
Exactly. Exactly.
Next question. What is your favorite process about writing music, and when does it all feel worth it?
My favorite process about writing music?
Like, what step? So let me. Yeah. When do you prefer like writing it in studio? Like, when does it feel
Oh, like,
like the
what
song
part of
itself
the
becomes?
process is my favorite?
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Um, I mean, again, it's kind of on, like, different levels because I enjoy the, like, the brain soup period where you're just kind of just, like, vomiting riffs out because it's just fun. That's, like, just pure creation at that point. But,
Yeah.
I'll also get stuck, like, spending 2 hours on, like, a a chunk of a song that's never gonna be a song. So, that'll come around to be frustrating. I think to give a concise answer, my favorite part of the process is when you have the demo songs all fully written, and then you're like in studio with your producer, and then you get like a third angle on like, ooh, like what about this? Or like, you just that interface in the studio of like laughing with your friends and just like, you know, you come up with weird shit that you never would have thought
Yeah.
like by yourself writing this, and you're like, oh my god, who would have thought a fucking tambourine really brought this to life?
Right.
Like,
Right.
or just like messing with weird noises. Yeah, I think I enjoy being like on the less technical aspect of creation because
Yeah.
I have like some kind of chops in Logic Pro, but I'm like by no means a professional producer. I can make demos. And so when we get there and it's really like coming together more so, and we're adding all the bells and whistles, and then we could, throw some vocals on top of that, and then it comes to a point where we're all just like laughing at a riff because of how good we think it is. Like
Yeah.
that's my favorite part of the process.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to say I agree. Like, I never really liked recording when I was in some of the smaller bands I was in. And then once I started taking things more seriously and getting into like a more legitimate studio with like a producer, that was like my favorite point. I think and that it's the same thing with me. It's like doing the demos, that's all fun and good and it's cool and writing riffs and stuff and you feel like you have a cool riff. But once you bring it into a studio and really like allow the producer to listen to it and like say, hey, what if we just change this and change this and change this? And then once you record all of those kind of final parts and everything gets clicked together, that's when
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this song is what I thought it was going to be, you know?
And it could go either way too, depending on like, depending on a producer. Because if it's like a good friend of yours, like we did some stuff with Austin Coop that I don't believe ever got released, and it was like that was like some of the most fun sessions that we
Yeah.
would just be going back and forwards. Like again, like Luke Fiatino, who like co-writes and produces everything that we're doing for this new album. It's such a good time to just sit with him and like laugh. And we do a lot of stuff where it's like, okay, just for us, like put that in and let me hear it. So
Yeah.
it's spending time with your friends and making art. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, I guess that's my favorite part of the process.
Nice.
Amazing.
Nice. Is that the last one?
No, there's one more, which I got it. Don't worry.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say I definitely think I missed one. But anyway, so next question.
It's
What
missing a word, but you got it.
Yeah. What is your favorite equipment that you own and couldn't go without on tour?
My favorite piece of equipment that I own, fleshlight. I'm just joking. I'm sorry. I'm just joking, guys.
That was
It's
funny though.
funny.
We have to make it known it's a joke.
Oh, yeah, no. I don't know. I guess I feel like it's like an overly obvious answer might just be my guitar.
Yeah.
Like I do really love. I play Ormsby guitars. I play a Hype GTR, and it's beautiful. I've been treating it like a workhorse for better half of a decade now. But God, I love it. It's just so light. It's a fun play when it's all set up and restrung. It's one of my favorite guitars I've touched. That or yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd say guitar, just straight up.
Yeah.
I love my guitar. It feels good on the fingers.
Yeah. That's important. That's important.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. We were back in the day when we would write death metal riffs, me and Dave from Misanthropic Tyrant, we would just talk about like that doesn't feel so good on my fingers. Like I don't really like that. It needs to be fun for the fingers.
That's true. That's very true.
So.
That's in my band, that's when we write stuff that actually is a legitimate thing too, I think. Like
oh yeah.
It's
100%.
like yeah.
Because sometimes you'll do that like in the studio, like final edits with the producer, and he's like, oh, like this makes more sense musically. And it's like, yeah, it sounds cool, but it's like playing it like doesn't make sense. And sometimes you're like, fuck, all right, I'm gonna play this like weird riff, and you get into it or whatever. But a lot of the time, I feel like I've noticed that like I don't know, maybe that's just how I write. That it's kind of like I'm I let my fingers do the like interpretive dancing
Yeah.
to kind of lead me to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
That was a
I
really dumb metaphor, but all right.
no,
That's accurate.
I agree. I don't know. It's just there's something where like there's some riffs where you play something and then you go into another riff and like just the transition feels really good. You're like, that's awesome. You know what I
Smooth.
mean?
I know
It
that
just
one. I know that feeling. Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Those
like, that's half of that is yeah. No, that's a lot of skill and also a lot of luck.
yeah, yes. For sure.
Accurate.
For sure.
So last question. Plans for
Yeah.
2025 for you and for traders.
Plans for 2025. Well, for traders, I'm not allowed to talk about any of it yet. So y'all are just out of luck there. I'm sorry.
That's
We're
fine.
coming with we are so plans for traders for 2025. We're releasing our album February, someday in February.
February.
And we have some fest dates lined up, some tour stuff lined up. That's pretty much as I can say right now. And also we're working. This album's coming out in February. We're working on new music coming up right behind that because we haven't released an album in so long that we feel like not only do we need to be consistent, we need to fucking be hammering.
Right.
Yeah,
So
keep the train
that's
going.
for traders. As far as me personally, I live my life 6 hours at a time, so I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing in 2025. I want to be releasing I have like a full album of gutter love country music written that's like more serious, like I'm actually going to try to make it sound good, like kind of a mix between like earlier outlaw country and then also just some like 90s outlaw gone pop country. And then just with my own flavoring. And then I have a whole nother separate gutter love album that I'm working on simultaneously that's just mishmash whatever I feel like.
Nice.
And then I have I think like 3 tracks on deck right now with Gutter God. So that's like 3 rap songs, and I have a couple of beats. I've been hooking up with different producers and stuff, so I'm trying to just put out music because I don't know. Yeah, 2025 has me feeling my mortality.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling very grateful for the moment I'm in and the position I'm in, and the fact that I have the ability to express these musical thoughts and feelings.
Yeah. Yeah. So
So
yeah,
I'm gonna try and make a lot of music. I'm gonna try and drink less alcohol. It may not be too great avail, but
It's something.
yeah, I'm gonna smoke a bunch of weed in 2025. I'm gonna pet as many dogs as I can find that don't make me nervous.
that's funny.
Not mine.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I got for right now. I'm gonna eat a bunch of food. I'm gonna be eating a lot of food in 2025.
Do you have a favorite food?
I'm gonna be staying hydrated in 2025.
A good one.
all of the above. That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. Well, that's all the questions we have.
That's like almost an hour. Look at that.
39 minutes. That's pretty good.
Look at that.
I wanted to keep it, we had a time. I tried to
Nice
stay
and
within it.
concise.
It's pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah,
So,
perfect timing.
But yeah, man. Yeah, I really appreciate you, taking the time, especially with how busy you are and what you've got going on. So really means a lot for us, for you to come on and answer some questions and have some fun. Yeah, it's just been a blast. So really, really appreciate it.
Hell yeah, appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah.
And I'll see you soon. I'll see you in episode 666.
It sounds good, man. Absolutely.
Oh no, wait, episode 420.
Yeah, exactly.
That one's
Exactly.
fine. I'll be there.
we can do that. So yeah, thanks everybody for coming and watching episode 10 of the Angry Advocate podcast, and we will catch you all later.
All right.
See ya.